Hello, and welcome to another video of S3. um, as usual, we have a bunch of things to cover today. It's going to be a long video, and I will start with the blog. Okay, tested, made sure everything is recording, and we're going to continue. So we'll start with the blog, the more personal stuff. We need to scroll down to, I believe this is last one. It's just Monday. I just enjoy seeing these pictures centered like that in the middle of the blog. My old blog was much more difficult to do it with. The next huge thing I want to talk about is me not being monogamous, non-monogamous. And the main reason I want to I came out and said I'm non-monogamous is because it's been something that's been holding me back from writing, from expressing myself. It's a big part of who I am. It's a huge part. I mean, it's my relationships. It's a big part of how I live my life. And if I write a blog about my life, essentially, there is a lot of components that touch that. And I notice that many times I'm kind of like self-censoring in certain parts because I don't want to put names on my partners, or I don't want to explain that I'm non-monogamous and then dive into the whole explanation. And then it just occurred to me one day that I'm putting way too much effort into not saying anything, that if I just if it was just open about it and just accept it as a fact of life, I can just move on and have less of these barriers. So I really, like I say in the post, I don't really mind or care as much. It's just a part of who I am. So, take it or leave it. And yeah. The rest, you can read here in the blog exactly, partners, what's going on. I just want to say that if you're curious, you want to ask questions, so yeah, you can definitely approach me and ask questions, respectfully, please. There's a way to contact me in the blog, and I'll try to reply if you have questions. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's move on. There's other content. The next one here is, I want to see if it's the same thing. Yeah, so issues I had essentially with Synching. Synching is essentially a service. It's a service, application that you install, and what it allows is to sync files independently from one device to another without a cloud. So today everything we do is basically using a cloud. If you use iCloud, if you use OneDrive, Google Drive, whatever drive, everything is in a cloud, and we don't even know what a cloud is anymore. But the idea is that there is one central place that has all your files, and then you sync, you connect to it from your different devices, and you get them from the cloud. The idea with Synching is there is no cloud. You just have a copy on one device, and the device talks to another device, and they just sync the files between them. They just talk to each other. There is no cloud in the middle. What happened with it is that I changed the folders, and instead of having my folders that are syncing, because what you do is you sync folders, instead of having the folders that sync, I decided to move everything into this folder called sync, and that caused some issues which you can read about here. And what I've discovered is that it's a good idea to have a folder dedicated to syncing, and then that folder would have different folders in it. I didn't have that set up before, so now I do, and that explains exactly what happened. It goes into my Emacs settings, which are also synced, so wherever I open Emacs, it's essentially the same thing, same configuration, same theme. That's that. It was, of course, all of it was human errors. Some blurs of what's going on, Mac Mini and everything. I think I'm missing a post here. There we go. So I refreshed. I know that I just posted this, and in here I'm saying I'm gonna do another S3 video. So here I am doing the video. So moving ahead, here of just saying like how fun it was to deal with my wiki. So my wiki, I'll go right to it. I've done a lot of changes. Actually, as I was going through the changes, I realized that having only 10 less items is not enough, so I changed it to show me the last 15. This is a good way for me to see what I changed, and also for you if you're exploring it. Right off the bat, you will see that I changed the captain log and other sites. They used to be included in the table of contents to the right. Not anymore. They stand out on their own. I think it looks better this way. This is integration of font awesome, which I have built into the wiki. And these are basically my links, and the captain log has essentially another log about what I'm going to talk about. If you want to read it in a written format, just looks better. It's one of the couple of changes I've done. First thing I can talk about is the Mac prep part. I think the last time I was talking about Mac prep, I did not have configure finder in here. I was install Synching, which by the way has parts because of what happened with additional parts because of what happened with Synching. So this is kind of like dry, still very note-like, but this shows you how I set up Finder. I actually put that entry from Wikipedia Finder on macOS because I'm setting up my Mac here. And these includes, I think, all the changes I've done to Finder specifically to make it work the way I'm used to. So that's pretty straightforward. That's Finder is a new part in here. We can close that. Synching, like I explained, there is a little bit more changes I've done in context, and then to set up how to set up. Actually, maybe I should change that. But this shows you how in Synching to set up a default sync folder, where you go to action setting, edit folder defaults, and you can actually, there's some sort of a issue here that I need to fix. Okay, so there was an image here that I realized was missing because it was stuck in the personal wiki folder, which I'm jumping ahead, but I kind of got rid of. Explains exactly how to set folder defaults. Oh, that's what the option is called, edit folder defaults. But what it does is it creates a folder that you can sync all the other folders into. So by default, that folder is your home folder. But if you don't want to sync all the other folders into your home folder, which is what I was talking about earlier, you can set a different folder here. That shows you that option. And this whole thing happened after the issue I had with Synching. So that's also new under Mac Prep. Moving along, install Synching we just saw. There's a huge part here. It's a big article. What this is essentially a post from my old blog explaining Emacs org mode, my old blog post about org attach and the slugs in org mode, the UUIDs. And this goes into details explaining what are these headers ID and UUIDs, how to change them. So instead of actually being UUIDs, which is a random string of numbers, you can change them to timestamp format. So what you get is a long timestamp starting with a year, ends with seconds and parts of seconds. And the reason it ends on parts of seconds is to create a unique ID for the tag. That's why it's broken down to such segments. And that makes it more human readable. So that shows you how to do that in Emacs in org mode. And then with that, it explains how to use actually org attach, which is another system built into org mode that allows you to attach your different files, attachment to your projects. So for example, let's say you're going on a vacation, you have plane tickets in PDF format, so you make this whole list on Emacs org mode. You want to attach the PDFs to that project, so it's available, it's together. So by default, if you don't make any changes, it works, but the folders it's going to be in, it's going to be some obscure random string of numbers, and you will have no idea where it is, right? You're not going to memorize that string of numbers. This kind of like changes it to timestamp, so at least you can, the folder makes sense because you see the time period you're going to be gone, you're going to be on a vacation, and then from there, you know, the folders break down. Games, there's nothing new here. I just moved it out of the main table of contents into the greenhouse because it's not nearly close to be complete, and I'm kind of like, I'm not really reviewing games. I should probably review them more. I'm playing a lot of games. I'm also have the Dredge, which I need to finish. I'm aware there's a lot of projects. That's what happened with games. Out of sight you saw, and it's because I changed how it looks like. This is the captain log itself for the changes I've made. I actually used a couple of headers that explains the things I actually did. Oh, and here is that's the name of the person I forgot before, Christian Tietze. I don't know how to say his name, but that person is the one who found that old post, and because of him, I pulled that old post into my wiki. Alright. Configuring Finder, and last is my About, which doesn't have the picture anymore. Decided it just doesn't look good. And I've added how to contact me on microblog. It's right here with the font awesome blog, because this is where my blog is. This is all the options, the ways you can contact me. Please don't use Twitter. Twitter blocked me yet again, probably the 20th time it does so, because it decides I'm a bot, because I don't have the app available. And yeah, I've been just don't use Twitter if you want to contact me. I'll never be able to find your comment. You're much better off just emailing me right here, and I'll find it. Mastodon will get it right away. This video is going to be in my S3. This is my S3 list on my channel. I am not sure if I'm going to keep updating the PeerTube instance. Again, the main reasoning behind it is because I'm realizing I'm running out of space, even though I have a lot, and it kind of puts me in a pressure point where I don't want to think about that. I have a backup of all of these. If YouTube ever shuts me off or whatever, I'll put them back. I'm not on YouTube to be like a content creator who makes money off S3 videos at this point. I just want like to have them somewhere. So, you know, this works for now. Yeah, so you'll find it here, as well as my other stuff. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you and have a good night.